I'm at 6th Street Veterinary Hospital talking to Dr. Michael Harris, aka Dr. Mike. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
And of course, before we talk about heat stroke, I'm going to talk, who's this?
This is the world famous Stitch. This is our mascot who came to us, gosh, probably about 4 years ago now. So he's going to help us look for some things to look for a subject that's near and dear to my heart, which is heat stroke.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time of year to talk about that too. It's getting hotter and hotter. People going outside with their pets. What can they look for?
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about what to look for, I tell you, because I've been a vet 25 years.
Wow.
Every year I lose a couple patients to heat stroke, and my experience is that the instincts of what to do when your pet's in trouble are all wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you know, our pets pant because they can't sweat.
Right.
And we're used to seeing our dogs run around, get all excited, and they're panting, and we're kind of used to seeing that. But as they begin to struggle and they get hotter, what you'll notice is their tongue will stick further and further out their mouth, and it'll get wider and wider. And that's their body's trying to maximize the cooling by getting as much of that tissue exposed to air. The other thing you'll see is, see how you can look at Ditch's gums and they're nice and pink, right? As they begin to have more and more problems and their temperature rises, what you'll notice is those gums will be bone dry and they get more and more red.
Oh, really?
So bright red gums in a dog that's starting to pant heavy, that's a sign that you could be in trouble. And then the next thing you know, you look over and unfortunately the dog has collapsed or is just laying down and acting like they can't stand up. They might look wobbly, and then you're really in trouble.
And you were mentioning that a lot of people do the wrong thing. So what does that look like?
So the first instinct, what would you do? You know, you're like, okay,
cool
my
it
dog's,
off.
cool it off, put
Yeah.
water on it, put ice on it, that type of thing. The reason that that's bad is because by the time your dog is already laying down and can't walk, he's already in shock. And if you put coldness on his head or his legs, any of his extremities, you're gonna cause all those blood vessels to tighten up.
Oh.
You're gonna trap all the heat inside the major organs like the brain and the heart and the lungs and the kidneys and liver. And that's what kills dogs who are in heat stroke, is the major organ damage because of all that heat being trapped inside.
And I would have never known that. This is, like I said, this is the perfect time to talk about this because, I mean, we could be dealing, like you said, a couple times a year too, you lose your patients to this.
And you get to a point, minutes make a really big difference.
Okay.
So the take-home message is, if your dog is that far to where they're collapsed, they're wobbly, and you even think that they're having heat stroke at that point, get them in a car, put them on the floorboard with the AC running on them or in front of a fan, okay, something like that. Immediately get to a veterinarian, okay? The thing we need to do is we need to get an IV line in them and start giving fluids that will cool them off directly into their vein, okay? And then do major organ support. These guys usually need a week or so in the hospital to overcome all of the catastrophic internal effects. But the most important thing, slow, gradual cooling.
Okay, and so how do we prevent this altogether?
Here's an easy thing, okay? If you add the temperature and the humidity together and it's 170 or more, your dog should not be doing anything outside active. And that's pretty much every day here, you know, from May till October. And if your dog is a smush-faced breed, okay, bulldogs, pugs, things like that, French bulldogs, then that number is even greater reduced, probably more like 150 because they can't pant effectively, right? So they got smushed noses, they can't move as much air. So being cautious.
Let's say they do need the help then. How can they get more information?
So to reach us, our phone number is 904-259-2200. Our Facebook is 6th Street Vet, and our website is 6thstreetvet.com.
All right. Well, thank you for helping us, Ditch. And if you'd like to see this segment again or get more information, go to firstcoastliving.net.